So earlier I did a video about the FEMA money that's been given to the American citizens after this Hurricane Helen, and how Kamala Harris went down to Georgia and did a speech, press conference or what have you, and said that right now they can give $750 to all the citizens for the immediate help for these citizens. And I'm like, you got all these billions and billions of dollars that can go to other countries and to people from other countries, but yet you have little to no money for the American citizens, which is shameful. And I'm sure some people probably say that I'm probably overreaching and hey, 750 is just like right now. I'm sure they'll have money, you know, soon. So I want y'all to hear from Mr. Mayorkas himself and let him tell you exactly how much money FEMA has.
Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas sounding the alarm on FEMA funding right after the devastation of Hurricane Helene. Listen.
We are meeting the immediate needs with the money that we have. We are expecting another hurricane hitting. We do not have the funds. FEMA does not have the funds to make it through the season.
Y'all see that, right? This was spoken today by Mr. Mayorkas from FEMA himself, saying that they do not have the funds to make it through the season. Now, the hurricane season has just started. We still have maybe a month or two left. And he's saying that there is no money. Where is the money, you may ask? Let's continue.
This all comes as the Biden-Harris administration spent over $1 billion from a FEMA program on services for migrants.
I want y'all to look at that now. They spent $650 million this year to give to the migrants. $363.8 million on the fiscal year last year. So basically, fiscal year, I believe, starts like in September, October. So it's not like from January to December, as some people may think. It actually ends like, I can't remember if it's 3 months. I think it's 3 months before the end of the year, and then it goes on. So in other words, 12 months has passed. Okay, so in the last 12 months, $650 million have been given, and then 12 months before that, $363.8 million have been given to the migrants.
Attorney General of the great state of Florida, Ashley Moody, joins me now. AG Moody, why does the Biden-Harris administration always seem to help American taxpayers last?
That's a good question.
Good morning, Todd. Yeah, everyone should be waking up this morning outraged by that comment. This is not something that has just happened recently, and Florida's been warning about this since this administration took over. Mayorkas has come in like a virus and infected these what need to be healthy, strong, fundamental programs to ensure the stability and safety of Americans in times of disaster. So you heard, they have taken the FEMA Emergency Food and Shelter Program and over time siphoned off hundreds of millions of dollars into basically making it an illegal immigrant resettlement program. And so when you see these states and cities around the nation declaring emergencies, even blue states, because of what this administration has done, encouraging more and more and more, developing programs to encourage more and more and more people to come here, the government, Biden and Harris, are having to fund that on the backs of the American people. And now, right now, in Florida, North Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, all of these states are hurting because of this truly natural disaster, not a Biden-Harris made disaster. They're saying we need more money. And of course they need more money because they've been laundering it from the true intended purpose of this fund that Congress set forth. Laws be damned.
there's two things going on here. We just touched upon the main thing, this horrific prioritization of migrants over American taxpayers. But there's also something else here. What does this say about the Biden-Harris administration's ability to just lead?
Before we get to that, also remember there are tens of thousands of illegals over here who are convicted felons. And all, if not, have received some of that $1 billion that American citizens can't get. Now, you have American citizens who are felons who can't even get a job, who can't get an apartment when they get out, when they serve their time, come become productive members of society. And what happens? They get right back into the system because they get little to no help from the American government. But people you know nothing about come over here, get money, cell phones, food, shelter, and say you're free to move about the country. Just make sure you answer this phone when your court date comes up so we can see if you can get asylum or not, which may be a couple of years from now, but you better come when we call. Make it make sense, people.
If they underfunded FEMA this much, and we are not even close to being in the heart of hurricane season, which in reality is August, September, October, and November, A.G. Moody.
Look, this is what President Trump did so well while in office. He could get to a 30,000-foot level, look at the health of American agencies and programs, determine what the problems were, and enlist resources, talented individuals, and a strategy to put Americans and the safety and strength of this nation first. I've seen it work here in Florida with Governor DeSantis. We decide where our problems are, we set forth to fix them, and we make sure not only money, but the strategy and talented personnel are in place to fix them. So, for example, when you have a disaster like this, and you know when there's no electricity, instability, when there's people needing just the basics of life because of a disaster. I was with officers the other night, and we surged our resources in vulnerable areas to looting. We made sure officers.
Hold on real quick. This is what I want y'all to see. At the bottom of this screen to the right, you see it says election night, 33 days away. Please go to vote.gov and register to vote immediately. I believe the last day for early registration. Last day for voter registration is October the 7th. So you have little over 3 days, almost 4 days to do it. But anyway, again, 33 days until it's time to vote. Election night. Please go vote early because I'm sure them polls are going to be backed up.
Knew what to look for when it was in complete darkness.
Right.
They knew what to charge. We make sure our state attorneys know to hold these people so they don't get back out and start ravaging these communities again. It takes proactive efforts, and you just do not see this out of this administration. And here in the roosters of coming home to roost, look at what's happening right now.
The Florida model
when
really,
we're in the middle of a disaster with this administration at the helm.
You're right. The Florida model really does need to be a 50-state solution. Just want to mention this. You all launched an anti-looting team in response to Hurricane Helene, coming as 8 migrant workers are arrested in Tennessee, accused of stealing from flooded buildings. You guys do it right down there. I would just add, only a depraved person steals from.
This is sad. This is really terrible. I don't know. I pray that everyone recovers as much as possible. There was a few hundred people that died. There are still hundreds, maybe even over 1,000 people missing, unaccounted for. We don't know if they're living or not because there's no way to contact them. And FEMA don't have the money. I think they said Houston is still recovering from the last flood that they had not too long ago. So we need a better administration. I'm sorry. Like I say, there's no policy. I mean, there's no party. It's just policy. It's doing what's right as human beings. Again, like I said, the last video, all for reparations. Reparations is always going to be top of the list for the freedmen, descendants of freedmen. But when it comes down to being human beings, this here, man, takes precedence because you got to be like, hey, whether they give it to us or not, at the minimum, when something devastating happens, your government should be there to at least help you with this. Because natural disasters are something that we cannot control. Now, we can control our education. I'm talking about individually. We can control what we read, what we study, the math. We can control what school we go to, degrees, certifications. You can do that. Just put the work in. You can do that. You can learn how to, like I say, trade. You can learn how to build, destroy, do anything you want to do to make money. You can learn, and it takes work. You just got to put the effort in it. But when natural disasters hit, everybody needs some kind of assistance from someone, whether it be your neighbor or whether it be the government, and especially the government because it's supposed to be the government of the people. But if the government cannot come through for you, now we, as you know, Freeman's always said, hey, we know what it feels like when the government has, you know, just did us wrong. You know what I'm saying? Not doing for us, we're doing for other people. And it kind of goes on deaf ear, I mean. But when you see something like this, and when the migrant crisis hit, and now everybody's affected, I think everybody's gonna understand what we've been saying all along. But anyway, like I said, vote.gov, register to vote. I think you got to October, I think it's the end of this week, to go ahead and make sure you're voted in your state, in your county, and then find out when early voting is and get out there as soon as you can and hit the ballot box. You ain't got to sit there, make it a big deal and say, oh, I need time off of work because November 5th or 6th or whatever that Tuesday is. I got to go vote. Don't do that, bullcorn. Don't do that. That's not even necessary. Just go and vote. I think in Texas, early votes start October 21st. I plan on being on October 21st, or I have to look at my calendar and see what day I'm off or what time I get off. But I'm going as soon as possible. Anyway, with that being said, hey, thank y'all for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Those 4 things cost you nothing but a couple of minutes out your day, but it means the world to us here. Don't forget, hey, go to our store that's below this video and get your products from marlonmorale.com, or just go to marlonmorale.com. Well, there you can get 10% off your first purchase. With that being said, I'll leave you in peace, and I'll see you on the other side.